In general, the smaller the tile, the smaller the notch size. There's a lot of gaps. As you can see, I got a variety of trowels here, from the very small notch. This is actually a Curdy trowel. This is a V-notch trowel. That's a Dietrich trowel, and a 1/2 inch by 1/2 inch. And these are all square notch trowels. There are U-notch trowels, there are Euro trowels, there are other kinds of trowels as well. In general, the smaller the tile, the smaller the notch size you can use. But that's not always the case, because you have to see the back of the tile, whether it's cupped or whether it's got a pattern on the back that needs to be filled, etc., etc. Now, the reason why you need the correct trowel size for the tile you're installing is because you need to get a certain amount of coverage of thinset on the back of the tile. If your trowel is too small, you're not going to achieve that coverage. The minimum coverage is 80%. Desirable coverage is 100%. In other words, you don't want any air pockets or voids on the back of the tile when you set the tile into the thinset. You want to get as much transfer of the thinset to the tile as possible. Use the size trowel that is adequate to get the correct coverage transfer of thinset to the back of the tile. So I've got a variety of tile sizes here. The tile I'm installing on this job is a 12 by 12, but I cut it down to a small tile, which would mimic, say, a porcelain tile, then a slightly larger tile, and then a 12 by 12, and then tiles can get bigger and bigger and bigger. But I just want to demonstrate a point here. I'm just going to thread some thinset here. So I'm using the V-notch trowel here. Tile here. This is a small tile. I'm going to set into this thinset. When I pick it up, see there's very good coverage on the back, 100%. If I do the same,
don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell.
With the larger tile, find there's a lot of gaps and not very good coverage. I would have to move up to a larger trowel, say a Dietrich trowel. Clean the back of the tile. Pick it up. You see the coverage is a little better. So what that means is I have to even step up to a larger trowel. 1/4 inch. So I cleaned it up and I stepped up to a 1/4 inch. And I put this in, give it a wiggle. And see the coverage is much better. Now I'm going to do the same for the 12 by 12. This is still the 1/4 inch trowel. By 12. Pull it up. A lot of voids on the back of the tile, whereas the same tile but cut down smaller, it was actually good. So now I'm going to step up to a 1/4 by 3/8. Another clean towel, top trowel, tile. Pick this up and see in the back, it's complete coverage. So even between those tiles, it just goes to show the bigger the tile, the bigger the trowel you need. Of course, there are limits to that because tiles can get very big. For example, for a 12 by 24, which would be this tile this way, but like this, I would use a 1/2 inch square notch trowel. So that's just the basics of how to select a trowel. You need to use the correct trowel to get good coverage on the back of the tile.